In this video, you're going to see how I use Zoom, which is my favorite video conferencing software ever. I use it for one-to-one client meetings. I use it for client groups, so groups of up to 50 people if you have the basic Zoom plan. And I also do it for online workshops. If you want to buy the upgrade to the Zoom plan, you can have, let's say, 100 people on a webinar, or 500 or 1,000 or even more. So let's get started by first launching Zoom. And in this video, I'll also show you how I do the breakout groups on Zoom. Okay, so when you launch Zoom, it looks like this, and you notice that there are these buttons down here. If you click on meetings, you'll be able to see what your upcoming meetings are. I've got several that are scheduled and several that are recurring. The one that's up here, that's his personal meeting ID, this is sort of like your default meeting room in Zoom. And by the way, please don't copy that number down. This is my own personal one. But usually this is unchecked. And if this is unchecked, okay, typically that's how it works. If you click on Start with Video, there I am. Okay, yeah, I actually have a couple of people waiting for me on a Zoom call, which you're going to meet them soon. But if you click on Start with Video and you don't have this one checked, that means it's going to start a new Zoom room each time you do this, or start without video. That's the other option you can do it. Join means that you're going to join a particular meeting ID that you know about, or schedule means that you're able to schedule it. And so, for example, if I want to schedule a specific meeting, then you could set the date and time, set how long it's going to be, and it's going to give you a unique meeting ID after you schedule it. Let me show you a couple of these options. Video when joining a meeting should be on or off. I recommend that you keep these both on. That's what I found to have the best results, because when the video is on by default, people come into the meeting, and people who aren't used to that might initially be a little bit surprised by it, but I find that they get used to it pretty quickly because they see you on video and they say, oh, this is normal to see the other person on video, I'm seeing on video, so that makes sense. If you make it off, then I find that it's harder to encourage people to turn on their videos. So that's what I recommend, having both of these. Audio options allow people to join both by phone or by computer. That means both is there. And then don't require meeting password. I don't recommend that, because unless it's a really if you have a new meeting that you create with a unique meeting ID by clicking on schedule, nobody has that meeting ID anywhere on the internet except for you and whoever you share it with. So I don't see the reason for having a meeting password unless a particular meeting room that you schedule as a recurring thing has gotten out there and you don't want random people showing up. That's the only reason I think meeting password. Enable join before host is a really useful a checkbox to have. It's when you have a client group or a group of people that already know each other, and it's kind of like you allow them to enter the conference room before you as the host shows up. They're able to talk among themselves, see each other first. When to uncheck this is if you're doing some professional presentation and people who are going to show up to see your presentation don't know each other, and it'll be awkward for them if they suddenly see each other before the host is there. So that's the time you don't want them to be able to get into the meeting before you join. If you uncheck the box, what they're going to see is they're going to see that the host has yet to join the meeting. Please stand by. And then they're going to see that on the screen, and they can do other things on their computer. And then when you show up, then the meeting will start. Okay, and record the meeting automatically, locally or in the cloud. It's up to you. I like to press the record button when I'm ready, so I typically have this unchecked. And the recurring meeting, and use personal meeting ID means that meeting, even though you scheduled it, will be using your own personal ID instead of the unique one that they are going to generate randomly. The recurring meeting option I like a lot because I have a client group that always meets in this, on a regular basis. So if you have a regular group of people you meet with on Zoom, do a recurring meeting and then schedule it. Schedule the recurring, even though it's recurring and doesn't have a particular time. It can happen 24/7, anytime that this meeting room is available, especially if enable join before host, then anybody can come in who has the link. And then you click schedule, and what's going to happen is once you click schedule, it'll open up your Google Calendar if you have that, and you can scroll down and basically select all and then copy it and send that to somebody via email. Now, if somehow you lose that and you want to get that back, you click on meetings, and you scroll down to where the recurring meeting that you scheduled was, and you click copy. And once you click copy, you will then be able to go to an email address or a document, and if you paste it in, it has that in there again. So that's what that copy function is. The edit means that you'll be able to edit the parameters of that meeting, just like we showed you earlier. Oops, open that up again. Okay, and then of course delete is if you want to delete that meeting ID. This is the meeting ID right there. If someone is asking you for a Zoom meeting ID, that's the one that you want to look for and copy. And for some reason, if you don't have it, you can always copy it. And when you go into the document to paste it, the meeting ID is essentially this. This is the format of a link to join a Zoom meeting either by computer or by phone. Someone who clicks on this link in their iPhone or Android will be prompted to join the meeting mobilely. I think they might need to download the free Zoom app to be able to do that. But this is the meeting ID, just so you know. That's the shortcut to it. Okay, and then if somebody is calling in via phone, of course the phone numbers are all there when you copy the when you copy the meeting information. However, if you want to just Google Zoom meeting numbers or phone numbers, you usually are able to find that in a pinch. International dial-in numbers, right? And so anybody in a lot of countries are able to find a particular number that is local to them. Okay, now let's go into, let me see here, give me just a moment here. Oh, by the way, I want to show you one more thing. If you click on this box, always use PMI, what's going to happen is that whenever you click on home and start with video, it'll go directly into this room, not in any other random unique room that it generates. So that's what this checkbox, always use PMI for instant meetings, meaning this is an instant meeting. Again, if you don't click it, then this will generate a brand new room. Okay, so let's go into the meeting itself. Okay, so I'm going to. So if you're wanting to go into a room that you already created or a meeting you schedule, again, you click on meetings and you find the room that you want to go into. And I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to click on start. I've got some of my people waiting for me there to help me with this tutorial. So I'm going to click on start, and then we'll go into breakout groups. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the tutorial. We're already recording, and thanks for helping me out with this. Really appreciate it. So I want to show those who are watching the tutorial a couple of things before we get going on this. First of all, if you want to mute everyone, you can click on Manage Participants down here, and then I'm just going to move. My recording screen is a little small right now, so go over here and then click on Mute All. And once you click Mute All, it has a checkbox. You want people to be able to unmute themselves, and I usually say yes. If it's a webinar, professional presentation, you might want to disallow people to unmute themselves rather. But typically for smaller groups and where you want them to be able to ask questions vocally, then you want to allow that. Click Continue, and now you can see that everybody's muted except for me, because you can see as I'm talking, you see that there is my microphone is showing up with some green on the upper right hand side there. And you can see that Diane, Kim, Michelle, and Kelsey just joined us as well, which is wonderful. And so you notice that when I muted people, everyone who comes in new, so Kelsey, thanks for demonstrating that, will be automatically muted as well. You can even mute people's videos if you need to do that by clicking more, and you can click on Stop Video. Or if you want to spotlight them, if they're the ones who are talking right now, so I'll just spotlight Kelsey here. And now she's going to be in the main screen for everybody to see who is watching the video, and then the other participants will be able to see everybody else above Kelsey in little squares there. So typically, if you're the speaker, you should spotlight yourself. So be sure to click on yourself like I'm doing here, and then you'll be able to click Spotlight Video, and there I am. And then you got to remember also to mute the person who was spotlighted before, and you could just hover over her and click on mute there. And then I also want to show you the gallery view. Okay, so gallery view versus speaker view. So if you are recording this, and by the way, the record button is down here. If you click on the record button, you'll be able to record right on your computer or record to the cloud. recording to the cloud means that you're going to start using up your disk space on your Zoom account, and you have to start paying for that soon. So typically what I do is record on my computer and then upload it to a YouTube unlisted video so that people I give the YouTube link to will be able to see it and everybody else can't see it. Now, so if notice I'm spotlighting myself, this is called speaker view, which means on my recording, you're only going to see me. You're not actually going to see the other participants up here. It's only going to be me. If you want the recorder or the viewers of the recording to see everybody, then you need to click on this button up here. And if you hover over the button, it says gallery view. And in fact, the participants right now are able to toggle back and forth between their own speaker view or gallery view. So even though I'm doing this for the recording, they themselves can click on gallery view and see one another more easily. But for the recording's purpose, if I click my view is what's showing up in the recording. So if I'm recording this on Zoom, this is showing up like this, then this is called gallery view because we can see each other side by side. A common confusion, people say, well, George, it says speaker view on the upper right. How can you say this is gallery view? Well, this is a button that brings you to whatever view that button says. So it says speaker view. So if I click on speaker view, now we're in speaker view, and if I click on this, which says gallery view, now we are in gallery view. Now, if I'm meeting with a client, just one-to-one, okay, actually this is a good tip whether you're meeting with one-to-one or in a group. I move the Zoom meeting so that typically the webcam is above the computer screen. So I've moved myself, because typically we like to look at ourselves, right? To be able to check how we look, right, in the moment. So I move it so that if I'm lucky enough that my own picture is right in the middle, then I move the Zoom until Zoom is at the top of my computer screen and it's pretty close to my webcam. So notice, even though I'm looking at myself right now, if I stand back far enough, it kind of looks like I'm looking at you. But if I'm really, really close up, right, then you can tell I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at myself. Then I have to remember to look at the camera lens to make you feel like I'm connecting with you. So that's why there's a kind of a visual illusion when I stand back a little bit, look at myself, it kind of still looks like I'm looking at you. So the other thing you could do is to minimize. So if I click on the minimize window, it'll create this tiny little window, and I can move this around even closer to the top of the screen to be able to look into my own eyes, and now it still looks like I'm looking at you even though I'm doing that. So click on the drop down. Oh, that just minimizes the video. Exit minimum videos right here. So now we're back, and the next thing I want to talk about is to mute and stop videos. So of course, to mute yourself, you click on that, and now even though people in the room can't hear me, even though for the sake of this recording, the viewers. And then stopping your video, of course, is that. Okay, and so when you stop your video, whatever profile photo is associated with your Zoom account will show up there. And if you don't have a profile photo associated with your Zoom account, thank you, Michelle and Kelsey, for showing what that looks like. Rosalie has a profile photo there, so that's what stop video looks like. There is a drop-down menu, or drop-up, I guess, next to next to the microphone icon. That's to give you to select which microphone. I'm using right now the iPhone thing, so that's built-in microphone, even though it's plugged in. It's called a built-in microphone. And then select the speaker, etc. Other audio options right there. You can check that out. You can test your audio sound. If you want to call in via phone, that would be the phone number to dial in, etc., instead of using a computer sound. And then the video options are here. You can choose which camera to look at. And then click video settings to see more. For example, one of the cool little check boxes when you click video settings is to touch up my appearance. So I've got that checked right now, but if I uncheck that, it's you can barely tell, but that's a little bit rougher. It's like more real life. If I click touch up appearance, it kind of makes everything a little bit smoother, so you can't tell as many of my wrinkles. Enable mirror effect is like looking yourself in the mirror. That's a more natural way of doing it. Enable high definition. If you have good broadband internet speed, that's a good way of doing it. 16:9 is sort of a nice, typical nice view. Original ratio has some black bars. No, I'm sorry. 16:9, it usually works better for like YouTube videos, etc. So turn off my video. You can just look at these. These are pretty obvious. Spotlight my video when I'm speaking. So instead of having to spotlight yourself, whenever you speak, you become the spotlighted video. I usually uncheck that because I want to be able to control that. I also want to show you the advanced features. So when you are so the easiest way to, oh, actually, before that, I want to show the chat box. So thank you. You can see that some chat messages have been starting here. And you'll see that because the orange button down there for the chat box, there are 4 messages I haven't yet read. So if I click on that, that'll show me the chat messages that are coming in. By the way, if you see yourself, your name is not correct, you can click on your own video and then click rename. And then, you know, the Zoom tutorial guy. Okay, press rename. And now that's what I show up here. Okay, it says me because I see me, but they're going to see George Kao, the Zoom tutorial guy, and it shows up here below my video as well. So you can rename it however you want. And you can also, typically when you chat, it's chatting to everyone, and that's my recommended thing. But you can click on everyone and chat directly. So if I'm going to chat directly to Kim, I click on her, and it says privately, and if I type hi Kim, only Kim can see it. It says privately from George. Nobody else can see that message. But for the sake of the chat transcript, if you're wanting to save the chat log, just know that when you save the chat log, which automatically saves at the end of a meeting, especially if you're recording the meeting, I'm actually not remembering right now, just to be sure the chat log is saved, you might want to, at the end of a meeting, click on More and click on Save Chat. And that will make sure, it actually right now it's saving the chat as it has been, but at the end of the meeting you might click More and Save Chat just in case. So the entire thing saves even for the ones that are private messages to you. Not the private messages to people are sending to one another, but to you, because it's saving whatever you're seeing on the screen. So the next thing I want to do is to show you the advanced settings. So the advanced settings are, and by the way, you can keep this chat box and move it around. You can close it for the time being, but the chat messages are still saved for later. All right, now the advanced settings are actually the easiest way to get into it is by clicking on the drop-up menu next to either the microphone or the video camera icon there, and then click on either the settings, video settings or whatever, and then advanced features, click that. And then click on Enable Advanced Features. And that will bring you to a web browser window. Let me just close this for now. Web browser window that logs into your Zoom account and gives you, usually you see it like this, and it gives you these, and I'm going to share and while I'm doing this, I'm going to click on share screen so that those who are here can see it as well. So to share your computer screen, you click on the share screen button. There's also a little settings thing there. One participant can share at a time, or multiple people can share screens simultaneously. Advanced sharing options, those are all things you can play with and try, but just simply click on this button. And now what you're seeing, those of you watching the recording here, is you can share. So typically people get confused by this in Zoom. They click share screen and they think they're done. They're not done yet. They have to click on which of their computer screens or windows they want to share. The default option is sharing the entire desktop, so you can see, in fact, and then this one is sharing just my Google's Chrome browser window, and that means the viewers cannot see the desktop. This you can even share your iPhone or iPad by plugging it in. Actually, you don't have to plug it in. Sorry, if your iPhone or iPad is on the same Wi-Fi network as your computer, okay, then you can get on the same Wi-Fi network and be able to share from your iPhone and iPad. When you click this button, sometimes it'll say that before you see the screen typically, you're going to see that you need to download a plugin. It's pretty quick. And once you download the plugin, you'll see this screen, and then you'll go to your iPhone, you scroll up, or Android, whatever it is, click on AirPlay mirroring, okay, and then choose Zoom. And then now you're seeing my iPhone, right? You're seeing my iPhone screen. Sorry, the video recorder is not it's not big enough to see this, but typically you can see this very clearly. Everyone else can see this clearly. So to stop share, notice that there is. I'm going to move this to the side. At the top here, there are various things you can do when you're sharing your computer screen. Okay, let me stop share for now, and let me do a complete desktop screen share. Okay, so now everybody can see my entire desktop. Those of you watching the YouTube video or Facebook video won't be able to see my entire desktop because I've shrunk the video recording specs there. But everyone can see my desktop. You can now move this window around. Notice if you put it to the top, you'd be able to change whether it's horizontal or if it's vertical. Just kind of play around with that. Okay, and then you can also click the boxes on the left-hand side or on the top, as it may be, to see either just one video, if you just want to move that up to be able to look at the camera lens more easily, or you can click on show a large active. So this is this is only for the sake of the recording. You can see that, or see no video at all. This is controlled by each Zoom participant. So Kelsey, Kim, they're all able to control whether they see everybody else. And by the way, if there's more than a few people, excuse me here. Okay, for the sake of this, this is a little hard to do because my video screen is not big enough to show this. But you see, for a second, there's that arrow next to Diane, or underneath Diane. Next to Diane, there's an arrow. If you click that arrow, it'll show more of the people's video. So sorry, I can't make this YouTube video perfect, but the viewers are able to change what they see so that they can move this around more easily and not let it distract. Okay, and when you're sharing a screen, you can also click on annotate up here. Click annotate, and you'll be able to change what format, if it's an eraser, if it's spotlighting something. Actually, I'm not even sure what that does. Spotlight this with video on. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I actually have, I rarely do annotate, but you're able to like say, hey, look at this. This is what I'm showing you. And then you can clear everything by clicking the trash can icon, clear all drawings. And actually, other people can annotate too, interestingly. So, and then you can even save the screen capture with the annotations on it. Remote control gives the control to another member in the Zoom meeting to be able to control my mouse. So that's interesting if someone's trying to give me a tutorial or showing me, George, you're not seeing this button right here. Let me show you what I mean. Give me remote control. Okay? And then let's click on stop share. And while you're doing this, oh, I'm sorry. Besides all these different things, I was on remote control. Or you can also click more while you're sharing the screen and be able to go to the chat. Click on chat. So while you're sharing screen, you can, whoops, let me get rid of the annotation, clear all drawing, and X out the annotation by clicking this little box here, or this bubble there. And then you can still see the chat by clicking on the more and chat, etc. Okay, all right, so let me, and you can disable attendee annotation if you don't want anyone else to draw on it. All right, let's click stop share for now, and let's go into the breakout groups while all of you are still able to be with me. So the breakout groups is done. First of all, you need to enable breakout groups in your advanced settings. That's what a lot of people don't realize they have to do on Zoom. So when you go to the settings and click on advanced features, click on enable advanced features, and you're in here, you have to go to your Zoom account here. Whoops. Go to your Zoom account, scroll down to in meeting advanced, right? Click on edit and allow breakout room. Okay, actually, I think this has been set by the admin. Okay, for some reason. Okay, I'm usually able to uncheck it and check it. The file transfer is another interesting, and those of you who are here who can't see it, let me show you. I'm sharing just my Google Chrome screen now. Oh, the other thing that's interesting for screen sharing is you can share computer sound. By checking this box, and I'm just going to share my Google Chrome window for now for those who are here. Click share screen. And so now the participants are just seeing my Google Chrome window. And you can tell because you see there's this green glow over my Google Chrome window. So that's why as the screen sharer will know that that is the one being shared. And they're not able to see my desktop now. But sharing the screen, let me show you again. When you share with computer sound, okay, you can then share like a YouTube video or anyway, any computer sound that you are able to hear, the participants are now able to hear as well. So this is good if you want to do a professional presentation, you want to start with like an inspirational video, then queue up the video on your computer first, and then when you start the meeting, you share your screen, share just that browser window and click on play, maybe full screen on that video, and then click on play on the video, and then all the participants will be able to see the video and hear it as well. So I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want this tutorial to go too long. And so I'm going to stop share for now, and we're going to go into breakout groups. Oh, I was gonna, sorry, one more thing. I want to make sure you see that when you do, I like the file transfer option being available as well. Uh, then you click on Save Changes, and that will now allow, next time you start a Zoom meeting, you'll be able to do a breakout room. So let's do a breakout room now. Let me show you how that works. Click on Breakout Room now that you have this. Again, you may need to restart your Zoom after you've done the meeting settings to be able to get the breakout room button. Click on breakout rooms, and now this is cool. There are exactly 6 other people besides me. So that's a great number actually, because I can make 2 rooms. It says 3 participants per room. I can manually put who with who, or I can automatically have Zoom randomly pair, Kim with Leslie with Diane, or whatever the random pairing is. I noticed there's an interesting phenomenon that whenever we do random pairings, there often are synchronicitous moments that happen. Zoom has a brilliant way, I don't know, they don't have an algorithm, but there's some kind of randomness, synchronicity to happen. I usually do automatic. And if you increase the room size, you'll see that if you increase the room size, now it says 2 participants per room because there are 3 rooms. 4 means there's 1 to 2 participants per room. And just to show you what that does, I want to create breakout rooms now. And now you can see that because I created 4 rooms, there is 1 room with only 1 person, or no, 2 rooms. I'm sorry, with 1 person each. And other rooms have 2. I can now move. I can even rename what the room is called, or I can now move people. I'm going to move Kim to breakout room 3 to be with Leslie there. And then let's go there's a tip here. Before you open the room, unmute everybody so that they don't have to look for where the mute button is. And another tip is to tell people, all right, everyone, we're going to go into breakout rooms, and when you start sharing, go by alphabetical first name. So Diane will speak before Rosalie, and each person has 4 minutes. So you want to give, and I've asked Zoom, and everybody watching this YouTube video, ask Zoom to make a timer option for each breakout room that the admin can control. That would be really helpful, and Zoom says they're thinking about it. So, all right, let's go and click. First, let's unmute everyone automatically by clicking unmute all. Let me get this to the side. Unmute all. All right, everyone's unmuted now. Now I'm going to click open all rooms. And now what they're seeing is something in the middle of their Zoom that says join breakout room. So now as people join, you'll see people disappear. Go ahead, everyone, join the breakout rooms. Okay. And on some internet connections, it takes longer for some people to join the breakout room. But now, everyone's in the breakout room. The admin can go take a break, or the admin can join any breakout room to see how it's going. So I'm going to go and even during the breakout room, you can still move people. For example, sometimes I find that some people are really shy. I'm in a big webinar. Some people don't want to join breakouts. And so one person might be by themselves. The others will have a gray bubble. It says not joined. And so if one person's by themselves, I usually move them to another room. That's how I do it. Now I'm going to go ahead and join a room with, with Kim and Leslie. I'm going to click join room. Okay, it says yes. And so now, hello, hi there. Welcome. I just joined the room just to show everyone what that looks like. And at this point, I'm going to leave the breakout room, and you guys can chat amongst yourselves. In the side of the breakout room, there is a chat that just Leslie, if I click on the chat, actually, Leslie, you guys are able to chat amongst yourselves, and that chat doesn't go into the main chat. Except when the admin is there, the chat button, I think this is for everybody, isn't it? That's for everybody. Are you seeing the chat that I just put through? Interesting. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that. So I'm going to leave the breakout room, let you guys have fun, and I'm going to close the room soon. That's brilliant. Thanks, Leslie. Okay, and then return to the main room. Okay, so now I'm in the main room, going back there. And then let's see if Leslie's, by the way, I didn't show you one thing. You can click and drag the bottom corners of the Zoom window to be able to resize it. Okay, so that way it's easier to resize. You can move this around by clicking on the heading, or the header there. Click and drag that. Okay, let's see if the chat is happening. So yeah, so while the breakout people are in there, I'm not able to see their private chats. So that's one of the useful things about the breakouts. They're able to just have their own conversation, truly. Okay, now one of the cool things about the breakout is that I am able to broadcast a message to everyone. Okay, so I can click on broadcast message, and what that shows up, it shows up at the top. It shows up not as a chat message, but shows up as more of an announcement at the top of their video. It's like, okay, all right, everyone, 1 minute left. Okay, and then click broadcast. And so even though you can't see it, it is being broadcasted, and I'll ask them when they come back. And so when you click on close all rooms, it'll say all breakout rooms close in 59, there'll be a countdown, and they can stay in the breakout room as long as they want until they get automatically kicked out after this minute, or they can manually choose to leave the room. And there you go, Kelsey, wonderful, you manually came back, so thanks for helping me test that. And Michelle, great. And so you can see that they're no longer in the breakout room, because you can see up here. And so you don't see me. Okay, that's interesting. There. Okay, so you had to just move the videos around or whatever, or I'm glad you mentioned that, because that should probably spotlight my own video when people come back so that they know that they're in the main room. Okay, so let's see, one more thing I want to talk to you about on this recording. I'm trying to remember what it is. Let me look at my notes here. No, actually, I think we've covered everything. So when everyone comes back, I'm just gonna thank everyone. And okay, hi everyone. Going to go to gallery view. Oh, see, sometimes when your Zoom thing is small, you might have to click on the button over here to see more people, or you can expand to be able to see everyone. So how was that experience? That was good? Yeah? All right. And so Leslie, when you chatted in the private thing, I didn't see it. So it was private. YouTubers, Facebook people who are watching this, if you have any questions, comment below the video, and I'll do my best to respond within a few days, or maybe someone else watching this can respond. And thank you, Kelsey Lowitz, Michelle Sperling, Diane Allen, Kim Victoria, Rosalie Schneider, and Leslie Seidel for being here. I will put there, each one of them has a website. They do really cool stuff. So everybody watching this, go check out their websites. You're going to be happy to see it. So as always, I'm open to your feedback, your comments about how this tutorial went. If it was helpful, I would love for you to leave a comment and let me know it was helpful. If you have any questions, again, leave it there and I'll do my best to answer. And have fun with Zoom. Bye, everyone. And then, but one thing I want to say before we leave is when you click on End Meeting, you can either leave the meeting and have them all still talk among themselves if the Enable Join Before Host checkbox, like I showed you in the past, if that was checked. I can't do that right now because I'm in a meeting. That's why Leave Meeting is available. Or you can end meeting for everybody and everybody's Zoom will close. So I'll do that for now. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, so there you go. I've ended the meeting. And I was going to show you that one thing about enable. Sorry about that. Let me go to this one. The Enable Join Before Host. So if I had that checked, if I left the meeting, they would still be able to work among themselves. Okay, so that's it. That's a long Zoom tutorial. I hope that was beneficial. I tried to talk as fast as I could. And let me know if this was helpful or if you have any questions below the video. Thanks.